or has that also been either exaggerated or completely made up, to basically out the government for the scumbags they are here in Canada? The inhumane and not even remote, like they're trying to really out your governments as your enemy. Okay, with all of these kind of things, your government's your enemy. Yeah, so everybody's in on it. Okay, this feels like this was a created story. So this, there's a, like, I bet you if you really dug into it, you'd find that it doesn't go too far. Okay, I think it is created. Yeah, this is created, and it'll eventually, other things will take precedent over it here, probably financial things that are happening in the world quickly. So this is quickly moves into like a situation where the whole world is paying attention to something, and it's likely financial or physical. So that could be physical earth changes, but I mean, that could be so many different things: weather changes, floods, things hitting the earth. Like we've seen so many different things that could be. Okay, and that takes us away from this story. But this story just goes so far, and it's actually everybody's agreed to it. So the Marine Land has agreed to keep the story going. I think they made up that China was trying to buy them. Like it feels really made up, and everybody's in on it according to that card. So this feels like a white hat op to further out the government. Okay, so that's actually good news. Very good news. Okay, but unfortunate that it is true that we did have, I don't think that government still exists that they're outing. I think they've already been capitulated. Let's hope that's true. And I've been seeing that for quite a few years that that's the case. And I'm hoping I'm right about that. Yeah, for all of our sake, I'm hoping I'm right about that. Now, let's see. So the New York Post reports alien DNA found inside humans was inserted into our genes by aliens. Humans are undergoing a genetic transformation because of it. Okay, very interesting. It's interesting because some people claim the jab is actually creating different things to happen inside humans. And it is like adding an alien component and creating maybe even the humans that took the jab, or several of them, or maybe the boosters, depends. On who you talk, like who's saying, because there's lots of stories going around, but they're saying that it could transform you into basically AI. Okay, so I don't know, is this New York Post trying to get people to really think about these things? Is it outing something that's true? Is it fear porn? Why would the New York Post put that out there? Okay, let's have a look. Are they just getting our attention to, or sort of soft, easing us into how involved we actually are with other species, other dimensional or off-planet species, what they're calling aliens, and or even the fact that most of us actually come from lots of different alien groups, right? We were seeded, as it were. Wow. Okay. So many things. So there's the alien card, speaking of, and or other dimensional card, hybrid kind of card. And then I think this is a soft exposure. This looks like a safe and soft expose. This is like telling the normies that we are, that weird times are coming. Truth is going to come out. This is going to completely flabbergast people that aren't sitting around even thinking about aliens, and or the fact that maybe we're not entirely who we think we are. We didn't come from, certainly we didn't evolve from apes. Well, that's definitely not true. Ridiculous things like that. Okay, that Darwin guy was very likely a Weffer and or a dark cultist for sure, and probably part of the agenda to completely, stupefy and dumbfound humanity. And I don't even know if those are words, but I'm going to say them anyway because they make sense to me. Okay, so truth is coming, and they're preparing the ground for, because this is going to be huge, transformational for people. So it's not exactly how they're writing it there, but they're preparing you with stories like that. Okay, so that goes along with those day-by-day readings. And by the way, there's a lot of conversation in the community about a bunch of people chiming in on they don't like the day-by-day or they do like it. Cards really do read like that really well, in my opinion, because I've been reading cards for a long time, and I'm going to do that every once in a while because I think it's a good way to look at, like, cards don't really conform well to yes/no questions. They're definitely not built for that. And they're more of a spiritual tool. So it's good to use them the way they were designed to be used. So yeah, I'm going to be doing that. So for those being kind of grumpy about it, you know what I mean? Like, sorry to hear that you don't like it. And I don't do it very often, but I am going to do it every once in a while. And I think it's important, and I enjoy doing it as well. And so do a lot of other people. So, you know what I'm saying? It can't always be just the way exactly you want it. Okay, so yeah. All right, let's see. So we've got third question. Oh, that was the third question. Okay, now fourth. In the end of the 1800s, 2 books were written by Ingersoll Lockwood, okay? And one was called Baron Trump, which a lot of this community has either read or certainly seen videos about, okay? So it's almost like a time traveler came to our time and then went back in time in the 1800s and wrote these books. Okay, so he writes a book about a guy named Baron Trump who has a president for a dad, I believe. Yeah, so it's kind of crazy. And here we have Baron Trump. Okay, and then also he writes the book, The Last President. That was a later book he wrote. Okay, and that's crazy because they say Trump's going to be the last president, at least in the way we do politics now anyway. Now, in the books, so this is what the person is asking that asked this question in the comments. In the books, both books apparently, now I haven't read them thoroughly, I've glanced over both of them, so I don't know this to be true. This is the question in the comments. This person states that in the books, it's written that silver starts out as a really big deal. Like they even call it the Silver Age, similar to the Golden Age. So in the book, at some point, silver's really high and worth a lot of money, and etc. And at some point, it becomes obsolete and worthless over time in the book. In both books, apparently, according to the person asking the question. Now, is this in fact going to happen to silver? So because the books are really signaling a lot of things that are actually happening, okay, could it also be a signal that this will happen to silver? And if that is the case, when? Is it years away, months away? People holding physical silver, they're going to want to know that. And I thought that was a good question because I got a whole bunch of physical silver. That's what if I got any extra, it goes into silver. Okay, so let's have a look. So the idea that silver completely becomes obsolete, and let's get a when on that if that's true. Okay, so is it months, years? Major arcanas would be more indicative to years. Minor arcanas would be more like within a year or months away, or even weeks, depending on what suit. But let's have a look. And I'm going to do the 7-card spread on this one. So this is silver becoming obsolete, like it says in the books. So we've got the Seven of Swords. So that's in the past. It's certainly been a manipulated metal. You bet. It's they call it silver shorting, and it's what shores up. These are all words. I personally don't know exactly what they mean, but anyone who really understands how money works and banks works, they would know these words. Okay, I'm just repeating them because this is what people say. Shorting silver shores up the banks. Okay, and helps them stay afloat, basically, in a very, I think, sketchy and illegal way, in my opinion. And this manipulation of silver has been going on for a really long time. So that's a very accurate card. That's in the past. And it seems to be unraveling now, because when silver hits 50 an ounce, they say it ends their ability to short silver, and then the banks could very likely, or they're on their way to crashing when that happens, and we're less than $1 away from that. So US money, less than $1 away from $50 an ounce. Okay, so this is the past, was very manipulated. The present, still holding on, so it's not been let off any leash entirely, because we haven't gone over 50 yet. Here we've got unnecessary fear, so there could be a fear of that. At some point, there could be a fear. The hidden influence is, or fear porn around that end. In other words, people spreading fear that silver will crash. Okay, now we've got nothing here says it will. Okay, we've got the hidden influences, the 10 of Wands. So I'm going to have to keep an eye on that just to understand what do we mean by that. We've got the 5 of, so that's setbacks and temporary loss. And then this is seeds have been planted and in its right time, okay, something will blossom or you will produce a great crop, but not until it's time. So nothing's saying it's going to crash. I'm not seeing a crash, but I am seeing that it could take some setbacks. So I feel like it goes up and then, but not as high as it could go. And there's some setbacks, and in its own time, it will reboot itself, but nothing is saying it becomes obsolete. I'm not getting that. You'd have to see the Death card, the 3 of Swords, one of these cards, or all of them in the reading, or the Moon, okay, and or even the Tower. We're not seeing any major arcanas. So I'd say it'll take some steps back over time, and then in its own time, really come into itself. Here we've got, and that's really what it's been doing. Okay, it's taken its sweet time. I mean, people have been talking about, I've been getting, it's going to be worth 600 an ounce, and that was like years ago, and we thought it would happen any day. Okay, so that's not been the case, but it's certainly doing how we said it would do it, just not as fast as we thought it would, which could even be a strategy too, to let everybody in on collecting some of it. Okay, so now we've got the 4 of Cups. So something in the background, something's changed in the background that creates silver to stay irrelevant. So this doesn't look like that's true. So the book says that's true, but I'm going to say it won't physically, literally go down like that. Okay, I'd say over the next 3 years, silver's going to be incredibly valuable. And yeah, it'll be long-term. So this is universal timing is in effect a long-term healing to a lot of people's money situations if they happen to buy into it before you can't get it anymore. So no, I'm going to say it could take some setbacks, but then it reboots itself. And yeah, lots of different factors have come into play since that book was written. So I'm going to say that that is not a calm. But that was a great question on the part of whoever asked that question. Thank you. That was a good question. Now we've got the Denmark question. So a lot of people wondering about, so apparently Denmark is deep into the digitalization system of all kinds, apparently. And digital ID is preparing to be mandatory, and nobody's standing up against it like they are in the UK. So it's quite scary. I mean, really scary. Look at this picture. You can sure tell it's AI created, because the person's thumb doesn't make any sense. Notice that. These are the ways you can see AI created visuals. The person's thumb looks like a big long finger. It's really weird. But anyway, I just noticed that. So it's important to notice these things. AI always screws up something on the anatomy, it seems. So important to notice AI created visuals. Anyway, so let's just look at Denmark's descent into this digital ID and all of these systems that are demonic 15-minute cities and all of the WEF stuff. Seems like they're going for it hook, line, and sinker. And according to the people writing, and who in particular wrote this question, they're saying that everybody around them is completely asleep to it, not noticing that every right is being taken away. So it's absolutely scary. I mean, that's got to be scary. So let's look at Denmark. And is that going, like the rest of what I get around the rest of the UK, is that it'll go so far and even look really bad. So will Canada, actually. And then it'll be pulled back just at the last minute, or even if it gets installed, it doesn't get used, like it doesn't go forward as a big system. All of that gets taken off just at the last minute, the 11th hour, as it were, which makes sense to the gut punches and the kind of fear porn we've been putting up with, the kind of psyops we've been putting up with. It does make sense to that could be the case. So is that also the case for Denmark, or is Denmark actually going to have to face this and deal with this or live with this? See what we got. Wheel of Fortune, the Fool. No. Denmark, right at the exactly like the rest of the. So this goes for all of Europe. This goes for the Netherlands. This is what I keep getting, you guys. So I don't always go back into every single country individually, because it's been saying the same thing. Okay, things will get taken off the table or suddenly change for the better. And suddenly we're in a whole different situation where we're planning together going forward to make whole new systems. These things get taken off the table all of a sudden, and it's happening, could even be this month. I mean, it feels like October, November, sometime this year, before the year ends. And and the people will know who their real enemy is through this. Okay, they'll finally wake up, even in Denmark, and it might take them, right up until some big change or event that really puts it in their face. But that's just the way it is. Some places are more heavily indoctrined than others. That's just the way it is. Or maybe it could be cultural too. Who knows? Like they just follow rules better or something, right? So this is just like everywhere else. This in time and universal timing, it's not meant to be something we live with. Humans are not going forward into more slavery. That's being taken down. Okay, so karmically, and it's just not going to be our future. Okay, so don't buy into it for 1 minute. Don't fear it. Don't let it eat away at you. Okay, but that's your best approach. Visualize your life as a free sovereign being, as if it's already happening. That's your best bet. Okay, all right. Now let's have a look at Mother Earth's message from Mother Earth. I thought that was a good one too. Somebody brought that up, and it's a good time to check in with her. And we don't know if Earth is shaped like that. We don't know for sure, but some part of it certainly looks something like what we're seeing there. So what's going on with Mother Earth, and what does she want to say to us? I love it. Self-loving. She's a part of you and you're a part of her. So we're all part of it. We're all part of what we're calling Mother Earth, and she's part of us. Wow. And the lovers. Isn't that interesting? That's a balancing card. This is a truly unconditional loving card. This is a balancing card. 3 of Swords. Something really hurtful is behind us. There's been a lot of hurt, even a lot of hurt intellectually. So we've been hurt intellectually. We've been dumbed down, told lies. We've been hurt mentally. It's almost more hurtful what's been said and thought as was because I guess that creates something literal. So thoughts and words have hurt her more than literal things. So that's interesting. So agendas, thoughts and words, how people feel about themselves, how people feel about their own selves, their own bodies, all of that, I feel like, because we're all connected and Mother Earth's part of it, we're all one. I feel like that hurts her worse than physical things we're doing. Okay, so a lot of people say the physical things we're doing, Earth could adjust and quickly change. It's more the things that are being said, talked about, and ideas, and how we're thinking that's hurting, and not physically what we're doing. Physically what we're doing could use adjustment, but it's a lot more harmful what's being thought and said, and all these agendas and lies told to us. That's more hurtful. Wow, that's interesting. Now we've got that Queen of Swords, boundaries. So the Earth is making a boundary just and fair. So these are really interesting cards, and they don't mess around, and they give no quarter. Okay, so loving towards us, but giving no quarter going forward to energies that aren't aligned with knowing that you're part of her, first of all, aligned with your own self and spirit self. I feel like the biggest job, and what it's saying here, is self-love, because that's a way to love Earth, because Earth is, your physical body's like a reflection of the Earth. It's an extension of it and a reflection of it, and somehow connects to it. So find personal balance in your life, self-love, have really good boundaries with the things and or ideologies that have literally been hurting all of us. Okay, and karmic balance is coming. I feel like it's karmic and just. So I think this is just a message from that energy that's, I think, within us and part of us, that balance will be had even if you personally don't get around to it. The Earth's going to balance things out anyway, because it's karmic and just and timely. And I have been getting that for quite a while. Things are going to balance out. They won't stand for this kind of energy anymore. So anybody who means harm, like the pedophiles of the world, the people that use others and deeply care nothing about and think of us as bottom feeders and useless eaters, and all of those kind of energies, I feel like they're going to be no longer welcome energetically here. Unless you're for and generous with and believe in abundance, your own personal abundance, and then generous and moving forward in a new way, how to distribute that abundance. So Earth is abundant, and it's not been distributed properly because it's been hoarded by these elites and deletes and these maybe even alien forces or other dimensional forces that have been enslaving us, okay, and using our louche, so our sorrow and sadness, right? Using that energy and also taking any kind of resources for themselves. And Earth's not going to tolerate that. Distribution of resources is going to change completely. And that includes, beautiful areas being open to public again, and things being distributed in a more fair way. So the deletes, we're going to call them deletes, and that small, tiny percentage of people don't have everything that's good here. Okay, because that's just not good karma. That's not a balance. We're coming back to a balance where we're all going to share the goodness of Earth's abundance. That's what she wanted to say. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching my video. And let me know if you see this video up on Facebook. Okay, so we've got an 8 of Cups here and a Strength card. That's actually what's going on. And don't forget this middle, this is the past that led to what it looks like is going on. So this is what the people are seeing, but this is what's actually going on. And this will be the near future. Okay, so the past. Okay, these guys have, so the government in Romania is a capitulated government. I don't care what side it is actually white hat Trump capitulated. So they've capitulated to Trump and the white hats. Remember the timeline video. Okay, and if you're new, you need to go do some investigation. Okay, if you're new and you're on this channel and you haven't watched the timeline, the Trump timeline, right from 2017, when he went to all the countries and it shows you how he capitulated all the governments, including the royal family, how he capitulated the Queen, etc. Okay, you're going to need to find that video, ask around in the comments, people will share links. There's versions of it too, but it needs to be that timeline where Trump capitulated all the governments. If you haven't done that, you need to do that, okay? Otherwise, you're slowing everybody else down here, okay? You're going to need to watch also Fall of the Cabal, all the series. It's a huge series with, I don't know, I can't remember, 20 pieces to it. Okay, they go pretty fast though, but it's incredible and worth your watch. Well, I would suggest watching that if you haven't, and definitely watching the timeline to catch up to what we've been talking about for years. Okay, because otherwise I'm going to get yelled at from my longtime people watching. Okay, so just a little homework for new people who don't know all their governments have capitulated and they're asking me all these government questions. Okay. And the reason I focus on the government in the US is because the comms tell us what's coming next. Okay. But I don't know about in the melee, how that's going to work, because now everything's just gone kind of off chart. Okay. But, watch last night's show with Jean-Claude to understand that a little better. Okay. So here we've got a capitulated government in Romania. So a lot of what you're seeing, they're actually strong. Okay, the Romanian government strong and for the people eventually. You're going to get back to a strong and for the people government. I don't know if it'll be called government though. I don't know what we're going to call it, but a system that is completely different, by the way, than what you have. See this 10, I don't think any of the players are going to be present. So wipe out all those players. We're looking at the really big picture here. All of the players you're asking particular questions about, none of those people are going to, some of them are even actors. They're not going to count. Okay. Some of them will be in Gitmo. Maybe they already are, some of them. Okay. So we've got strength. So the Romanian people will leave their government behind, like I believe all peoples will all over the earth. Okay. And see that 3, this is how it looks. So it looks like there's 3 different things going on there where 3 different energies share governing. Is that what it looks like in Romania? Let me know on the comments, because that's what it's saying it looks like. There's actually 3 different groups appear to be, but here's what's actually going on. Everything will fall, even in the next 10, that could be weeks, but it could also be months. Okay, your whole government system will fall. Okay. And your elite and upper, like echelon of people, just like all over the world, like your actors, actresses, the really famous ones, anybody in really elite positions, who've been raised up certainly by, basically selling their soul to the cabal. All of those people will fall from grace. Okay, so your actors, really, really famous ones, your musicians, really, really famous ones, your artists, really, really famous. So the top people that get all the play, even though there's so many talented people in the world, they've likely been a part of the club. All your elite club members, so people that turn out to be part of the Illuminati, otherwise known as, of course, the Khazarian Mafia, those people. So a lot of your elites are going to fall along with your governments and your royals. If you got royal people in Romania, they're all going to fall, you guys. See that 10? None of them are going to last. I'd say 10, within 10 months, could even be as short as 10 weeks. Depends, I think, on a lot of things, again, that are going on in the US, right? A lot of things depend on that. Okay, so here we've got... Yeah, so there's a lot of gossip and innuendo. You're going to hear all kinds of, so you have fake news just like we do, although your news is starting to be like breaking through the fake news, and you're getting some big hints of real news coming through. Let me know in the comments if that's true. And you're moving towards, and I'd say even by February, you're going to see it a lot clearer. You're moving towards a lot freer system financially. So I don't know if you consider yourself involved in that sort of Rothschild's financial banking system, like a lot of other countries in the world. But if that is true, and if your banking system is a cabal banking system, you're moving towards, and you should have some big announcements between now and February that you're getting off of that system. So let me know in the comments how that looks. Okay. So now we're going to look at the UK, and we're going to look at, so the farmers showed up big time last weekend. I think it was last weekend in London. I saw pictures. It was amazing. I hope those were real. You never know anymore, right? So let me know if you guys saw this. All the tractors like coming in to inner city London, which is of course a huge cabal center. London, just like DC is a cabal center. It's not even part of the UK. London is its own little thing, and it's like all about trafficking and covering up what the cabal does. Okay, these guys are, they worked smart. I mean, they created places like the Vatican, London, like the city, is totally its own little thing. It's a hub for, and has been known as a hub for trafficking, laundering money, that sort of thing. Ukraine actually was also like that. The whole of Ukraine, US was using it as their money laundromat, and human trafficking, body parts hub. Yeah, this has all been outed, you guys. This is outed. This is known. This could easily become mainstream known as soon as they're ready for everybody to hear this. And I don't know when that is, but I feel like it's soon. Okay, but a lot of people, I'd say 25% of the population already know this. So these guys are toast. They can't hide. Their best bet is to get the hell off the planet, and or try to get underground in their little hideaways. I don't think that's even going to work anymore. I think a lot of those hideouts are being blown up. That's why some of the things that, as soon as you get a 10 mile underground earthquake that registers as 10 miles under, that's when it happened. That's likely tunneling. You guys, it's not actually a natural earthquake. All the earthquakes lately, certainly around in the US, they've likely been cleaning out tunnels and or collapsing tunnels. Okay, so this is a war. We're in an information war. We're in a secret war, and it's really not going to be secret for too much longer. So I just need everybody to remember that, going forward. Okay, so what else do we got? We got Inheritance tax in the US. Inheritance tax, okay. Is that going to be a thing? Okay, movie card, notice the movie card. Okay, your government, the horrendous government, is just a movie to let you see what these guys are capable of and what the plan was. That doesn't mean you need to stop memeing about them, talking about them in mainstream media, outing them. Out all of the shenanigans, because all of that would be real if it wasn't for already the takedown in the background of the White Hat Alliance. Okay, so that's a movie playing out for normies to finally wake up in the UK to the fact that they've been completely inundated with deep staters who have not even remotely their interest. They couldn't care less about the humans, and they're not. I don't even think these energies are human. I really don't. Like they've been satanically, ritually abused to the point where they're no longer humans, and all of their humanity's been beaten and raped out of them. Okay, and then they turn around and do that to their own children. Okay, that's what we're dealing with. Generations of satanic ritual abuse and MK altering. Okay, so they don't even see right from wrong. Everything's upside down in their world. And those are the people, you guys, that are running your governments and officialdom, or have been. And that's why they needed to be taken down. Okay, and now you're being shown by the White Hat Alliance who these people are, and their true colors are being exposed. Okay, that's what's been going on for years. Okay. So now that's what I get anyway, right? So I'm just telling you what I've been getting continually for years. Okay, so I trust that because, but you don't need to. I'm just saying that's what I get, right? So just telling you. Okay, see that ace in the middle? So this is what's actually going on. So it's a big movie you're watching in your parliament. That doesn't mean you sit on your laurels. I'm not telling you to just eat popcorn. I'm telling you go to work, because you need to out that and sort of help the process along where these guys get outed for their true demonic. Like, don't just sit back and laugh at their antics, the absurdity of the stuff. Share it. Go, are you kidding that our government can do this? Do you guys see what's happening? Blah, blah, blah. Get some memes going, get on social media, get talking about it, or just share other things that are, make sense that other people are sharing. Okay, everybody can share stuff. Okay, so you watch on social media and you share stuff. Okay, yeah, that will help get the word out. Okay, yeah. So see that Ace of Swords in the middle? See that Ace of Swords? So they're really, really outing themselves. It's like they're literally, so in the UK, like they're putting this forward, but I feel like really it just outs their true agenda. Okay, like it's a land grab, which of course it is. And we've seen these land grabs in the several years in the US in particular, I've noticed, and things in Canada around when a natural disaster, like what appears to be a natural disaster, happens. So something to do with fires in Canada, and to do with fires in the US, and to do with earthquakes and the tsunamis and all of these things, the big tornadoes in places that normally don't have that kind of weather pattern. And those people are, so they're still dealing with that in lots of areas in the world, and in particular in the US. And it looks like a big land grab. It looks like the same things going on with the inheritance tax, but they've outed themselves completely. So they've made it really clear, oh, we're going to land grab you guys, and we're going to pretend it's, just politics as usual. So if you're not yelling about this in your social media, maybe you better think about that. Okay, we need to be doing that. That's our job. Okay, so here's the near future. So again, we got the strength card. You come out of this strong. Your government is not what it appears. We've got the Three of Pentacles. In fact, there's support going to come. And there's, in fact, 3 areas of support that the UK is going to get that will, so what you're watching is gossip and innuendo. It won't actually come to pass. You're actually going to see a whole different group surface out of what appears to be your government. And really what they're doing is outing themselves. And I feel like with that Fool, it won't actually be long till this movie in the UK finally gets really like comes to a big crescendo and the curtains raise. Thank goodness. I'm hoping sooner than later. I mean, timing, you know, the cards are saying we're getting to a better place in the world. Okay, it's really hard to nail down time in cards. That's always been the case with cards. Okay, so I'm just saying you can see the changes. Okay, so that's all. That's what we got to stick to. Okay. I can't get a timing on here. Okay, but I'm assuming it's about the same time as everybody else is going to go down, which if we look at the Romanian card reading, that looked like about, within 9 months, you'll already see that your government is no longer your government, and we've already had to start recreating. And I'm thinking it's sooner than that, but I don't know. When you got stuff like melees happening, that could hold everything up. I don't know. Or maybe it'll make it go faster. Like when the Wheel of Fortune shows up like that, you don't know how it's going to affect things. You just know it will. Okay, that's when you have to develop trust and grounding in your own process and know that you're a soul living in a body, having a human experience. Your soul never dies. It's okay. Whatever's happening here, we're just learning stuff and trying to be better humans. Okay. That's when you start taking care of your own backyard and just working on loving yourself and your family. Okay. If it gets too much for you. Okay. Okay, what else do we have here? Let's see. We're going to do just a couple more. I just wanted to really recap some stuff because I'm getting a lot of flack in the comments about, oh, you don't do this and you don't. And I just wanted to explain why don't I? Okay, because we could waste a lot of time talking about details about governments, and that's just a huge waste of my time. I got to tell you guys. I love all you guys, but that's a waste of my time. Okay, that means you haven't been listening. So if you got a big question about some really minute detail that's happening in your government, revert back to what I just said there. Go back and watch that video. Okay, go back and watch this video, the first 10 minutes. Okay. Okay, so spraying drones. Okay, so now we've got visuals, apparently, of shooting and spraying. So these drones over New Jersey and New York. And of course, we're starting to get pictures from all over the world of drones, you guys. So keep them coming, keep the pictures coming, keep letting us know where are they showing up. Are they showing? I feel like this could happen all over the world. They just started in New Jersey and they've been there for like a week solid, and maybe even 2 weeks by now. It's been a while, right? So spraying drones. Now we've got video footage of, is that real? Are they spraying something? One of those objects, and I don't even know if it's a drone. Maybe some of them are drones, but I don't think they're all drones, was spraying something straight down. Now that's going to cause absolute havoc. That's going to freak everybody out. And I just want to know, is that real? Was that what it appeared to be, some substance being sprayed? And is it bad? I mean, I'm assuming it is, but we don't know for sure. Like we don't know anything about these energies. Okay, even the government's throwing all their hands up, not that we trust them anyway. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so the drones that are spraying, we'll start there, and then we'll look at the shooting drones. Okay. I've not heard any more about that other than this morning we saw some footage. Is that real? Is that fake? Maybe that's fake. Let's have a look. This is the spraying drones. Oh boy. So yes, that was real. 7, we've got the Hierophant in the past. What are they spraying? Well, we got 2 5s. So it'll feel bad, but this is weird. Underneath the thing itself is positive. I don't know what they could be spraying that's positive. Okay, so we've got the 6 and something about our health. Okay, so this looks like it's actually positive and moves us out of troubled water, physical body-wise. Okay, so I sounds insane. I'm just going to say what the cards say. The actual stuff is good for your health. I'm not saying stand under it. I wouldn't. Okay. But that's what it's saying. Okay. Just saying. But now we've got the 2 5s, which is if people won't think it is, and they'll absolutely feel like they're being hurt. Like they're going to, so 2 5s are temporarily, this will really set back any kind of connection with those drones and or otherwise UFOs or whatever the hell they are. Okay. And I think we got a combo. I think we've got some man-made stuff in the sky in that area, but I also think we have so I think we got a mixed bag here, just like I got weeks and weeks ago with Jean-Claude that we'd have. And we could get contention there, but it feels like the actual UFO spraying does look like something's being sprayed. And it does look like it turns out to be something good for our health, which sounds ludicrous. I know, I get it. You don't need to listen to what I'm saying, but I'm just getting what the cards say. Okay. We'll all find out sooner than later. Okay, I'm saying don't stand under it. I wouldn't, but that's what the cards are saying. We will look like it will look bad at first. So it looks bad. That's a temporary setback card. We're going to feel put upon. We're going to feel the people underneath are not going to like it. People don't like getting sprayed stuff. They don't know what it is. Okay. But I actually get it turns out to be good. But honestly, I'm just reading the cards. If I was a mother, well, I am a mother, but if I was under there and I had my kids, I wouldn't want the kids to be in the way of the spraying. It just doesn't feel right. So I get why people won't feel right. Big picture is it doesn't look like it is bad for you. Just reading the cards, definitely not giving you the advice to stand under the spray. Okay. But kind of the good news is it doesn't actually look like it's harmful. So that's totally wild to me and wasn't what I was expecting, which often happens with cards. Card readers, we get a lot of flack. We get a lot of flack, but you have to wait with stuff. You don't know, just keep watching. This is an art. This is an art form. And it takes time to actually play out, right? Things play out in time. Okay. So now we're going to look at we saw some shooting supposed drones. Okay. What was going on with the ones that appeared to be firing? Now here's what's interesting. They were firing off into the photo that I saw, they weren't firing at any target. Okay, so this is where I thought, I wonder if that's fake. I mean, they can fake photos, they can fake video footage. Was that firing good? I mean, did they get that from remember when the supposed Ukrainian war first started? Okay, they had actual footage from video games and they were putting it on mainstream media and pretending that was live fire coming from Russia into the Ukraine when it was actually video, and people recognized it from video games. So I just want to remind you guys, they can do that. So is the firing, because honestly, it wasn't aiming at anything. It was literally going out into the atmosphere and then dropping down. That's what I saw. Okay, so to me, that's like, whoa, fake. Or is it a show of, what are they showing you? They got firepower? What's going on? And who is that? Or was that from a human-made drone thingy? Or was that actually a UFO? Okay, so let's have a look. Do we have actual firepower in these drones? And are they using it now over New Jersey? Like, okay. So that's interesting. We do have an ace, which is a yes. But it's over here. Interesting. But then we got the movie card. The movie card in the middle. Okay, I feel like the yes is intellectually, they have firepower, but I don't think they're using it yet because this was first. I feel like if this was first, we'd have an absolute, yeah, what you saw was, they have firepower, because I remember I did say a lot of things there. So the cards are trying to answer all the things, right? They do have firepower, but they haven't used it yet. And it just, somebody fudged that. Okay, that's what you're seeing. So the video we saw that appeared to be firepower was not. Okay, this is interesting. Now we've got the two. I feel like there's going to be, remember a long time ago with Jean-Claude, I got that there was a group of beings. They were orbiting the Earth in a mothership with the moon. So they were that second moon everybody was talking about, turned out it was a mothership. And the mothership had loving, so energy that cared about humanity on it. Okay, I got a feeling some of these drones are from that mothership. Now I'm seeing that. So in the near future, I feel like we've got some of those energies, entities. I feel like that's from the mothership that was orbiting the Earth with the moon. Moon being also some kind of mothership or some kind of, I don't know what. It's definitely not just a rock, okay, that got caught and is been orbiting the Earth ever since. No, that was placed there. That's a thing that's probably from an alien, I don't know what, but I don't know exactly what I'm talking about, because sometimes I'm not sure about how the Earth is formed. Okay, so I'm not just buying that we're just a ball spinning through space, although that could be true. But there's, I don't know. Whenever I did cards on it, it was a couple of things. So I feel like that's one vision that you could imagine and live by, and it could work for you. But I feel like there's a lot more to it. It's more of an energy field that we live in, and we create within it. So it could change for everybody. Yeah. Anyway, I'm still figuring that stuff out. So it's hard to talk about aliens sometimes because I'm not sure, are they actually from other parts of maybe what the world is that we don't know about? Are they from under us, deep down inner Earth? Are they from deep under the water? Like still unknown, and definitely something we still got to, like, that remains to be seen where these guys are actually coming from. And here we've got 5, so letting go of something. And we've got the 6, letting go of something, and the 6. Okay, so they are not firing. They have firing power. They're not firing. They come in peace and love. So unless somebody starts something with them, they're not going to start it with you. I got that on the big show last night too. Wow. Okay, so there was one other thing I wanted to ask that I thought was really important. And that's, what does the universe want to tell us coming, let's even ask, I don't know if I can channel the alien beings, the other beings. I'm going to try. So I'm going to say, so that some of these energies that are actually from non-human, so the non-human, what they're calling drones, because I've got that some of those are non-human ships of some kind. Okay. So now I'm going to zoom in on those entities, the ones that I got had a message and they wanted to talk to maybe even Trump about something. Remember when I first looked at this on the world news, I got, maybe they want to, it looked like they wanted to talk to Trump about it. And, or maybe I just mean somebody who's, that connected and up the line there. So because they had something to talk about that happened to them in the past that they wanted to clear up. And it wasn't a fun thing for them. It was the Three of Swords. You remember that? Okay. Now I'm going to ask, what message, what more details can we get around the message they had for that officialdom? If they want to tell us, and they might not. If they don't, we'll get, I'll see that. You can tell. When it gets really elusive, you don't get to ask the question, but we're asking it and just see what we get. Okay, so the entities, they do seem to want to talk. And they're saying here, so they want to clear something up that's been like misrepresented. So this bunch say they've been misrepresented by our governments, maybe even underrepresented. Okay, that's another, they've been kept in the dark by our governments. Okay, so they've been kept in the dark by our government. They've been waiting a really long time and they think it's time. So they're making a plea to the powers that be that they can make contact. They're actually asking permission to make contact. And they're trying to go through the right way of doing that. Okay, so they're being cautious. They want to come out of the dark because too much fear and unknown and energy around who they are. Okay, so that group, whoever I'm getting here, is definitely more along the lines of a more loving, caring one. And I still maintain that you move in with personal boundaries when you deal with these energies. You don't just go there all totally open and to whatever, because you don't know how they're going to react to that. You go in there with, my boundary is, if this is your boundary, I know I have a boundary of, I don't want to be taken up into your ship. I don't want to be taken off and away from my family, and I don't want to be experimented on, but I do want to know more about you. So let's connect that way. Okay, but we'll do it politely with some distance between us and safely, so everybody feels safe. That's how I want to contact. Okay, you might want to get in your mind what kind of contact you want. Okay, because make sure you're clear, because I feel like what they read is intentions. What is my intention going into it is, I'm not here to hurt you or diminish your being or even deny that you exist. No, I'm really, really happy to make your acquaintance, but we need to be like kind with each other and just maybe exchange understanding of each other's cultures. And we'll go from there, right? So that we're going to start there, but I want to stay safely put and don't worry, I in no way want to be experimented on. And I'm not giving myself up for you to probe. Okay, like that. Right. I'm getting they're also concerned that they've been misrepresented or not represented enough, and that they have been dealing with our governments and officialdoms. Now they want to deal directly with people. And they're even watching the war. So they've been watching the war for years, what's been happening here. They've been watching maybe for thousands of years, but they've been watching, and they feel like they might be able to have some kind of impact or input. And they would like to have the permission of the powers that be running the joint. And they've assumed it's Trump. Okay, so because he's the front of the Alliance White Hat, I feel like that makes sense that they'd be looking for Trump. Yeah. Anyway, so things could go well if everybody treats each other with respect. Yeah, but of course, some people might start shooting at these guys, or maybe they already did by the time I put this video out, and then all hell could break loose. I'm not promising that everything will be safe. I'm just saying, if everybody sticks to that, keeps their personal boundaries and approaches this with caution. And these guys really do want to talk to some officialdom. They'd like to clear themselves to, maybe even land here, it looks like. Yeah, they want to just check it out. I think they want to just get to know us. Okay, but again, everybody get your boundaries in place when dealing with them. Okay, so it's like tricky. Dealing with a whole different group. You have no idea we need to know their intentions. Get to know your intentions. Get really clear about them. Okay. Thanks everybody. And I'm going to be gone for the weekend, and I will be back. So if you don't see as many posts, I'll try to post on Telegram like I do when I see interesting things, but I'm going to be busy with family. We're doing sort of a, early seasonal thing where we all get together. I'm seeing my dad. He's in his, I've been saying he's 88 for years. So my sister he must be in his 90s by now, Janine. Yeah, he's in his 90s, probably 91 by now, roughly figuring it out. Yeah, so, I'm going to connect, touch base with him, bringing my kids. So I just want to tell everybody, I'll be back Monday night on the Beyond the News, and then we'll do Tuesday another world news. Okay, so bye everybody. You'll see, you guys will recognize what cards. Oh my goodness, look at that ace. So he's the Ace of Pentacles. He's a real guy. Okay, so there is a guy that is Luigi. Okay, wow. Okay, and that's a truth card. That's interesting. So the guys, things you look up about him don't look made up so far. Well, fascinating. So that it takes out the he can't be a CIA guy if he's like a real person. They would have made that stuff up about him. So he's an actual person. Okay, and we've got the 7 of Pentacles there. The 3. Okay, this guy's a real human. Wow, it's not saying he's a killer. We haven't asked that yet, but we asked, is this guy like a real person? Yes, he's a real person. There's more to discover about him. I think they'll also find out about some disappointing things, but I think if they looked into anybody, they're going to find some disappointing things. The thing they didn't find, though, was past records, so he doesn't look like he's been involved in criminal activity that they know of for sure, because it hasn't been recorded. So he doesn't have a criminal record. Okay, but there will be some things that might be iffy, but wouldn't they find that in everybody's background somewhere? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So here we've got the 10. We've got the 10 in the middle. There's a facade going on, though. There's going to be a facade going on. By the way, a lot of people are sort of putting this guy on a bit of a pedestal, which is a bit weird. Okay, but a sign of the times. So a lot of people are kind of not exactly singing his praises, but kind of like that's a victory card. So he did something on behalf of humanity. So that, it's unfortunate that we're here, but that's how people are feeling about these companies that rape and pillage. Okay, they're not okay with it. They're not okay with all the tears. Like, people are being ruined financially and their loved ones are dying. Meanwhile, these CEOs are millionaires and multiple millionaires and billionaires. Okay, none of that's okay, right? And by the way, the guy that was supposedly shot, now, do you guys remember when I first looked at it? I got that guy'd already been picked up by the white hats, was likely going to be processed or was processed, likely already processed, like could have already been tribunaled and hung. It's like, I'm just going to be blunt. Okay. And I feel like they're playing something out. Okay. But anyway, let's keep looking around this guy. Okay. Now we're going to ask. But remember, that's what I got when I first looked at it, but we're going to go into more detail, see if we still get that, okay? Okay, so now we're going to ask, so Luigi's a real guy, so whoever they're showing there, that's a real human. He's not just a made-up person, which a lot of times they do, okay? George Floyd, remember George Floyd? They took somebody else's name and put it on, like some guy that had died in jail or something some time ago. Oh yeah, it was hilarious. And they used actors to the guy that supposedly choked him. They were actually friends, and they were both in the acting guild together. Like, they'd worked in some kind of nightclub together, like for many years. Like, they knew each other. It was all faked, you guys. That was all fake. George Floyd, fake. Just so you know what they're capable of, these people. And actually, I think it was the white hats who did that one, right? They're trying to show you how they fake this stuff. Okay, so we don't know for sure who did this, but I'll tell you, it's suspiciously looking like the white hats, if it turns out yeah, this guy didn't actually kill anybody. So let's have a look. Did Luigi kill the CEO guy? Was he the guy, like, did he actually do what it looks like he did and what everybody's saying he did? That's what we're asking now. Okay, you guys, first card down, we got the magician. Okay, we got the magician now. Smoke and mirrors. So we got smoke and mirrors and movie card. Smoke and mirrors and movie. Now we've got, okay, I feel like he was already brought to justice. She's really direct about justice in the past already. He already faced a tribunal. That's what I think. Okay, so yeah. I feel like this is they're sending a signal out. Okay, there could even be more than one reason why they're doing what they're doing here, but we're going to ask that next. So this is starting to really back up that original reading that I did that looked like the white hats already got this guy, and this is all just playing out. Maybe to explain why he's not around anymore in the future. Maybe they're done with putting actors in. They're going to take these people out one by one, but I thought it was more than that. I thought it was maybe they're trying to show an example to these CEOs about what could happen to them. Okay, it's a pretty risky thing for the white hats to do. Okay, so let's keep looking. We're going to get really thorough here. And you know I'm not that good at thorough, but I'm going to just really work on trying to be thorough here, okay? Try to stay focused, Janine. Try to stay focused. Okay, so right here, it looks like, no, he did not kill. So Luigi is a real person. He did not kill this guy. Okay, so he didn't kill this guy. The guy was already taken into, like, he was already picked up. I think this, okay, wait, now let's ask. Okay, did Luigi know? Was he in on the PSYOP? Did Luigi agree to do this PSYOP? Or was he, MK altered and did it without his own knowing? Like, did he, okay, wait. Was it Luigi in the video? That's what we're going to ask. So it looks like he didn't kill anybody, but the guy's real, but we didn't ask, was that him in the video footage? Okay, because Brenda and Martin sent me a picture of side by side the guy they say is Luigi and the guy that they say was in the video that killed the CEO. And Luigi has eyebrows that go almost right across his, forehead. But the other guy has a big space like I do between eyebrows. Okay, so that doesn't make sense. Okay, there's likenesses, but the eyebrows are a dead giveaway as far as I'm concerned. Very interesting. So now let's ask. So they got a real guy. His name's Luigi. Okay, and they've got these reasons why they think it's him. Let's see, was it him on the video? Was it Luigi that they've got right now? Was it him on the video that was actually seen and/or the video of him killing the CEO? Was that the same guy? That's what we're going to ask now. So according to this, Luigi didn't kill anybody. Okay, but do we just have the wrong guy? I mean, okay, so let's see. Was this the guy, Luigi, on the video of the guy killing the CEO? Are you following me? Somebody write what I'm saying down in the comments. Okay, let's see. That's a strategy card. Huh. That's interesting. Well, we got the King of Cups. We do have the Tower first card, so I'm going to say yes, because that's usually an affirmative. When you ask a question, you get a first card down, major arcana as an affirmative. And it's the Tower, but then we've got I think that he's in on it. Okay, so see the King of Cups here? I feel like the King of Cups says he was, so this, I don't know about MK Altered. I wouldn't say that, actually. I'd go with the King of Cups there. I feel like he's part of the PSYOP. That's a PSYOP card. Okay, so he's part of the PSYOP, and he allowed himself to be used for this PSYOP. That's pretty wild. I wonder what he's getting out of it here. I hope he gets protection going forward, although it looks like everybody's turning him into a hero, frankly, so that's interesting. Okay, so we've got the 8 and the 5. So we've got the 8 of Pentacles and the 5. Part of the war. So he agrees to be part of the war. I feel like he might have relatives or people close by in his family that are part of the White Hats. So this guy's in on it. And he's, a lot of things are going to come out because of what he did here. The Wheel of Fortune takes us in totally different directions. So this whole thing's to move us in a totally different direction. It's not really about the killing of the guy. So that's the next thing we're going to ask. I mean, the killing of the guy breaks open a whole can of worms and Pandora box. And that makes sense because think about it. It gets everybody talking about what these insurance companies do, about these CEOs of these huge corporations that are ruining the world and pillaging and raping us and keeping us completely enslaved. Okay, they say that insurance, well, at the beginning of the whole pandemic and everything, I read this thing and I can't remember where I read it from, but I would have shared it for sure. But it was saying that actually the biggest evil in the world, never mind bankers are evil, of course, and blah, 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 but the worst thing ever are the deep state insurance companies. They're the worst. They actually do the most damage. Okay, and they work entirely off fear. They made a whole huge industry out of fear, insurance companies. So I feel like we're outing insurance companies now. We've been outing first the governments, of course, pharmaceutical, government, kind of more like this, pharmaceutical, with the whole pandemic. Governments kind of hand in hand, all officialdom, basically. Religions, okay, outing huge religions and finding out that they're just big businesses, outing huge organizations that gather money to save the kids when they're really trafficking children. Religious sects also trafficking children. These are all the things we learned. Okay, now we're learning about insurance companies. Okay, and that was the whole idea. It was to bust open the whole insurance company Pandora's box. Okay, it's not really about, so now we're going to ask, let's just reiterate here. So that looked like Luigi was in on that, and he looks like he's somehow tied to the White Hats somehow through family members is what I'm picking up. That's just intuitive. Okay, let's have a look at, did anyone die in the film we watched? Did a person actually die? Did we see a death? Did we witness a death? I shared the video. Everybody shared it all over the place of him shooting this guy. Did anyone actually die or were hurt? Hurt or dead? Oh, okay. Or was that all an act? Okay, what's going on there? Because remember, they took the guy away, I think, and said he died later in hospital. I think that's how it goes. Write in the comments if I got that wrong. Okay, and because that right there, that's suspicious, right? Okay, let's have a look. I mean, but if the guy who got shot was in on it, I mean, he could have just been a good actor and played dead, right? And then they had other actors come and gather him up and take him. That's what they did on the, with the, that other one I was talking about, that other big psyop. Let's see what we got. George Floyd, that's the one I was. Yeah. Okay, Janine. Showing your age here. Okay, what are we doing here? So did anyone die? Oh, this is weird. We've got an ace, so that does go yes. Was hurt anyway. Somebody was hurt. Didn't die though. So far, unless we see a death card here. I get yes, hurt. Not necessarily got, that's a 50%. Somebody was hurt. Okay, that's wow. Okay, we've got the judgment. Oh yeah, I guess to make it look real, they actually, maybe they BB gunned the guy. Yeah, he got hurt. Somebody got hurt. The guy got hurt. Okay, maybe it was more realistic or something. He didn't die, but he got hurt. So yes to, did he die or get hurt? Yes to, and this isn't all the way dead. Okay, that's a 50% card. Something happened and the guy got hurt. Okay, so the person in this, so they must be really dedicated to getting that thing to look real. Somebody got hurt in that whole enactment. Okay. Remember, we saw the magician card though. So the thing was an act. Okay, and nobody died. And the actual CEO has already been processed. You guys following me? So, there's layers and layers. Okay, I get a lot of flack when I do the Beyond Mystic, when I go on the IAP and do the Beyond Mystic. Just last night, I got huge flack because people don't always understand how cards work. They're looking below. So I'm not getting intel from people on the ground in these operations. I'm looking beneath the veil, and the spirit world is telling us in a spirit world language what's going on. And it's almost never what they say is going on. Okay, so it might be annoying to hear it that way. And the only way you could really check up on it is keep looking. Even for years down the road, this stuff could still be coming true. And don't forget, before, like, anyone was talking about there's going to be huge lawsuits and outing, the vax is going to be booby trapped. I was saying that I wasn't getting that from intel. I was getting that from the spirit world intel. I was all the way along in everything that's happened so far, even if it took years to roll out. I was talking about it years before. That's how it works with this stuff. So it won't make sense sometimes at the beginning. Okay. And you have to wait sometimes years before it actually plays out. And what I've been getting in the Middle East, and this is where I get most of my flack from, is that nothing you think is going on. It's things already played out there. I'm not saying there isn't bombing going on and shit going on. Yeah, there is. But it's not exactly what people think it is. I feel like Israel, and I'll just only say this, has already been, something already happened. It fell already. Okay, that's what I always get. And that I'm not trying to say there's anything good about the leader of Israel. Somebody actually said that last night, that's what I was doing. And I wasn't saying that at all. They weren't listening. I was saying that nothing you think is going on. There's layers and layers and layers of things. And underneath all of those layers is huge military operations. And they're not even revealed in the cards exactly what's going on, but it's mostly saying, and it's continuously saying, what you think is going on, things already played out, and it's not literally what you think it is. So we're hearing about this halfway across the world and out of time with when it actually happened. And all of what we're hearing is coming from mostly mainstream media, by the way, which is, of course, BS. Okay. So none of the people pitted against each other are probably really who's in battle. It's a whole different battle going on. Very likely even including other dimensional or off-world or underworld beings. So it's like, it gets convoluted. Okay, so you can't really make heads or tails out of it. So it's really hard to talk about. I'm taking jabs at it anyway, but we're just going to have to patiently watch and just see what happens, right? It's definitely not what they're telling you is happening. Okay, I haven't heard anybody explain it the way the cards keep getting it. So I'm just gonna keep saying what they say because that's how it works with tarot. I got to read the cards, guys. Anyway, or I wouldn't be good at my job, right? I just have to keep reading them, even if it's unpopular. So, anyway, okay, so we've got the 6 of Swords here and the 2. Yeah, somebody got hurt. Not too bad. We got the 2 of Pentacles. Somebody got, okay, but they're moving out of troubled water. I feel like for some reason to make it real, they actually shot him with something, okay? And some kind, because they wanted to make it look real. They needed it to be believable. Wow. And maybe even to get the guy to the hospital, maybe that's what got the guy to the hospital. And then once he was there, the white hat team swooped in and dealt with them, right? But that way they got hospital staff thinking it's real too. And that, it's part of the psyop, right? Wow, they are good at those psyops. Okay, it's fascinating. Anyway, I wanted to spend a lot of time on that so you understand just how crazy this stuff is. So that Luigi guy, okay, he looks in on it through family, to be honest. And yeah, that's totally wild. Okay, now let's ask, what's the intention? So it looks like the white hats pulled off another George Floyd type psyop. Okay, what's the intention? Because it's created a lot of focus on these companies. So there's that. Okay. So what else? What are they doing? They sending a big message to the CEOs? Are they shame walking them? Are they telling them you're going to be next? Are they just getting the public involved in understanding, who their enemy is, right? Let's have a look. Okay, it looks like they're taking a pulse. They're taking a pulse to understand where everybody's like. So they're looking at all the comments. People are literally celebrating what happened to that CEO. So they're just picking up on how yeah, they're taking a pulse. Okay, so that it helps them understand how much more of this movie do they need to play out to get people to understand who their enemy is. Clearly, if everyone's joining in saying that guy deserved it, and we're in favor of what Luigi did there. Okay, literally that's what's happening. Thousands of people are chiming in. Okay, what I feel like that's doing is it'll help them gauge how ready are these people to find out about secret tribunals, all the shit that white hats have been up to, so they don't get in too much trouble for doing that. People will understand. They want to know how the public's going to view what they've been up to, which is literally rounding these criminals up, these demonics up, and dealing with them. They need to know they're not going to get completely in trouble for doing that, basically. Yeah, they need the public support, let's say. Okay, so they're taking a gauge and putting feelers out there on the public support to see how much more of this movie we have to digest. It's wild. It's wild. Okay, but on top of it, when I first looked at it, it looked like they were also sending a signal to the CEOs. So I feel like it's that too, right? Let's add that to it. So now, as promised, I'm going to look at the New Jersey drones. So more stuff came out. There's been nonstop, these huge drones flying over New Jersey. And it's interesting because they're not being shot down. Meanwhile, one little balloon floats across parts of the US and Canada and gets shot down, okay, by the military. Meanwhile, there's like truck size or house size drones spotted for days in areas over New Jersey, and they're not getting shot down. I'm like, what? I want to know what the heck, are these UFOs? Or are these actually military? And these military people know that. Like, they would know if they're man-made, like, what's going on? Where are these things coming from? What the heck's going on? When I first looked at this, and I looked at it a few days ago. Okay, so when I first looked at it, it looked like these things were exaggerated in size somehow, possibly through CGI. So they take something and then project it way bigger. So I'm not necessarily buying that they're the size. But if you think about it, advanced technology might know how to do that, make themselves look bigger to be scarier, maybe. That could be an advanced technology, right? Like coming up on their enemy looking way bigger. It would be like that's what animals do, right? They puff all up to look way bigger so they can be scarier. I mean, makes sense, right? Let's have a look at, are these things from off-world, underwater? Some people are saying they're underwater too. Hey, I feel like when we say UFOs, we don't mean from space per se. Maybe if there's that kind of space out there, maybe they're from space, maybe they're from underwater or even underground, like deep underground, other dimensional, like we don't know, right? I don't know for sure. Let's have a look at these drones. Are they human made? Is this a military thing and they already have this ability to build these things and even project them to look bigger than they are? Okay, we got the Three of Swords. Well, that's interesting. Three of Swords. Okay, so here's how it appears. The Wheel of Fortune's in the background, and it appears to be part of the war. So it's like the war comes right to the visuals of humans. So they understand they're in a world war. They understand they're in a war. So far, I'm not necessarily, okay, so that'll ramp up. So keep an eye on that New Jersey, those things. I feel like they might get a little testy. I feel like these are not human made. I'm not getting human made here. I'm not getting human made. We got the Wheel of Fortune there. So they're coming from something unexpected. So they're unexpected. So they came here unexpectedly. And when I first looked at them, I got that they're exaggerated. But now I'm thinking only just in the visuals. So like I was saying about how animals make themselves look bigger, these things have the technology to look bigger. But upon further investigation here, it looks like they could ramp up a little. Like I feel like it'll be more in your face here that these things are non-human. I feel like they're non-human, and this is interesting. We've got the 9 of Pentacles and the 7 of Swords. Okay, so they're from an independent source that feels like they've been hurt or wounded or have a bone to pick with possibly a war that was fought with them. Right? Because they're coming here and they got a bone to pick. That's what, do you guys know that saying? So they've been hurt or wounded in some kind of war in the past, and they've come back to kind of maybe have a little say about it. Okay, so this is kind of scary, okay, but it's more like how it'll look. Okay, I feel like these guys came back here because something happened in the past with humanity and they were hurt in it. And now I don't know who it is exactly hurt them. Maybe the government. I don't know. Okay, but they're back here and they want to talk. Okay, but they're free agents. Oh, that's wild. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, we got the 7 and okay, yeah, so they're trying to get an audience with somebody. They're trying to get an audience with a governor or a government or some kind of officialdom somehow. They're trying to get an audience. They want a meeting with somebody. Okay, this is fascinating. Okay, in particular, Trump would do. They want an audience with Trump. Okay, so these guys are not from Earth. They want an audience with Trump. They've been hurt before somehow by humanity or in some war. I don't know which one, maybe on the moon. I don't know. Anyway, they've been hurt before and they're coming. They got a bone to pick with somebody here and they want to talk. Okay, they don't look like they're going to cause harm or that's their intention, but people will freak out. Okay, because maybe they'll get a little closer, or maybe they'll get more of them. I don't know what. Something will scare the out of people. Okay, but this doesn't look like it's their intention. They're not trying to wage war on humanity, but they want to talk to somebody about something that either they lost or they feel hurt by. Maybe it was taken away from them. Maybe some of their technology was taken from them. The last visit to Earth. So they got a bone to pick. They'd really like to talk to officialdom. Trump would be a good one. Okay, I feel like he probably knows about this. Okay, so we got the white hat. Okay, it does feel like they'll get an audience. Maybe not directly with Trump, but definitely with some white hats, some white hat military. And it looks like it'll be successful. We're keeping to talk here. So now I'm looking at, are you guys safe there? Surrender to. So we got the 3. So we got the 3 of Cups and surrender. Let me keep looking here. Okay, you won't feel safe. There's going to be a moment real soon for these guys, like with this whole situation, that gets a little scarier. And in fact, you are safe. Okay, but it'll feel like for a minute there, you're not safe. You probably already feel like that with them. SUV-sized drones hanging over your, where you live. Okay, so you're safe, but it's a little scary, and it'll feel a little scary, and maybe get even a little scarier. But I don't get you're going to be unsafe. I'm going to send you guys ravens. I'm going to send you so many ravens. New Jersey. Okay. Everybody send ravens to New Jersey. Okay. And of course, to all the other areas in the world that you're worried about, because there's a lot of those. And that's all I got today. I just really wanted to look at those things. And that's a lot to think about, I know. Thursday, I'll be back doing another one of these. So yeah, put some questions for Thursday up. Okay, love you guys.
Để ta giả làm Bồ Tát bằng đất sét cũng được, nhưng không thể xem ta như thằng ngốc. Mưu kế của bọn họ, mình đã đoán ra rồi. Nếu như mình có thể nghĩ biện pháp nói cho họ biết, không lo bọn họ sẽ không thiếu mình một phần nhân tình nữa. Nghĩ đến đó, Nghiêm Tung vội vàng khách khí nói, đúng. Xin lão quốc công cứ đứng đây đôn đốc, công việc lấy đất này hãy giao cho vạn bối chúng con là được. Vương đại nhân, vài ngày học sinh sẽ ở một bên coi giữ. Vương chủ nhân nghe y nói xong cũng không cái gì nữa, lấy một cái xẻng con lúc vào lăng đã theo ra, rồi bước lên trên giường bạch ngọc. Lý Kiệt lập tức trừng to hai mắt nhìn chăm chăm qua động tác của y không chớp. Thành quốc công cũng không biết vương chủ nhân sẽ lấy đất như thế nào để che giấu việc đến làm cầm nước. Nhưng lão thấy Lý Kiệt đứng đó như một con ưng già, hai tay căng thẳng tóc đến độ tóc biến thành máu cốt. Dưới cặp mắt chằm chằm như hồ đói này, tiểu vương sẽ hành động như thế nào đây? Lão công già những hàng mày trắng căng cả đến bên cạnh Lý Kiệt, vỗ vai lão ta rồi cười lớn nói: Ngươi chính là tỷ đang bộ tông Lý Kiệt hả? Trông được đấy. Ngay cả việc Lăng Bộ Thiên Hằng xảy ra vấn đề mà cái đám tặc thừa đó cũng cả gan dám che giấu, tôi không thể tha. Nếu không phải nhờ ngươi, toàn thể triều đình đều đã bị giấu gạt rồi. Lý Kiệt cười bồi nói: Lão công gia có khen rồi, đó đều là bổn phận phải làm của thần tử. Nói thì vẫn nói, nhưng cả mắt lão vẫn nhìn chằm chằm vào Kim Tường không chớp, chỉ lo có người sẽ giở trò. Nghiêm Tung nhìn thấy lão như vậy thì trong lòng cảm mừng. Cái tên thối ta không biết điều này thực đã giúp mình không ít. Đã đang băn khoăn không biết làm sao để thành quốc công biết mình cũng là bảo vệ Dương Lăng. Thế này lại tạo cho Bồ Tát bằng đất sét mình đây cơ hội lập công. Hai chữ Kim Tỉnh này nhiều người đã nghe đến nó, nhưng chưa tận mắt thấy thì không ai biết thật ra nó trông như thế nào. Trong dân gian có vài công tượng tức là thợ thủ công, vì ôm lòng hư vinh đã tiết lộ đôi chút, song lại đa số cũng thổi phồng sự chán nệ của Kim Tỉnh, cho nên đây là lần đầu tiên mấy vị này được nhìn thấy diện mạo thực sự của nó. Vương chủ nhân lúc này đang quỳ trên bệ đá, đánh giá cái động đất có đường kính rộng nửa xích, sâu chừng 1 thước đó. Y lấy tay thăm dò một lát, 4 vách là hoàng thổ bị dính ẩm, nhưng khi sờ đến đáy thì thấy đất đai nơi đó thấm nước gạo, nhưng lại khô ráo bóng nhẵn. Vương thủ nhân giật bắn người thầm nghĩ, quả nhiên bọn họ đã động tay động chân vào rồi. Vương thủ nhân vừa mới nghĩ đến đây, câu nói bóng gió như lời độc thoại đó của Chu lão quốc công lọt vào tai y. Ngay lập tức trong lòng vương thủ nhân liền lóe lên một ý nghĩ. Khóe mắt y nhanh chóng liếc qua bên cạnh, chỉ thấy Lý Kiệt đang trừng hai mắt quan sát nhất cử nhất động của mình. Thế là y cực kỳ thất vọng. Không ngờ ngay vào lúc này, thân thể cao lớn gầy gò của Nghiêm Tung bỗng chợt xoay lại, lách đến trước mặt Lý Kiệt, cúi người thi lễ, bộ dạng vô cùng kính cẩn. Học sinh thân là con dân đại minh, cũng nên tạ ơn đại nhân. Xin đại nhân hãy nhận của học sinh một lạy. Cái cây sợi gầy đét này cao phải hơn 1 thước 8, vừa xoay người là chắn hết mọi thứ. Thậm chí gã kia cúi xuống hành lễ cũng đã che khuất Lý Kiệt, khiến nó ta không nhìn thấy gì. Lý Kiệt có ý muốn lách người trên gã, nhưng sợ lắm như vậy sẽ quá lộ liễu. Rõ ràng là có ý bất kính với gã và có lòng nghi ngờ vương chủ nhân. Nhân lúc lão chỉ mới hơi chần chừ, Nghiêm Tung liền kéo tay thân mật nịnh nọt lão. Bộ hình dùng đại hình bức được cầu công, bá quan bất phục, cho nên bây giờ mới đem về phúc thẩm. Nếu bộ hình có được bậc trí già như đại nhân đây, dùng lời nói bóng gió dăm ba câu chữ, nhất định sẽ có thể khiến cho mấy tên phạm quan đó công sạch. Ngay đúng lúc này chỉ nghe thấy tiếng chàng sắt xúc đất sột soạt truyền nhanh lên trên. Đúng vào lúc vừa hết thời gian một khắc, thì nghe tiếng của vương tổ nhân reo vui: đã lấy được đất của Kim Tỉnh rồi, hãy mau mang hộp vàng đến đựng đất. Vương Quỳnh thong thả tản bộ bên trong thư phòng một lúc lâu, bỗng dừng chân cười nhạt nói: đáng nghịch thần gian xảo đó không chịu ngồi yên, ngông cuồng vọng tưởng, dám lấy đất kháng hiệp. Cái tên thập trưởng nhỏ nhoi đó, nếu không phải đúng sự thật, há dám phỉ báng ực. Binh khỏe trong quân, nếu không có nội tình gì, sao lại đột nhiên chết đi chứ? Ta đã sai người giữ hộp vàng đựng đất và hủy hết mọi chìa khóa, chỉ còn chưa lại một chiếc này của ta. Chỉ cần đất trong hộp vàng không việc gì, để xem bọn chúng còn có thể dở được trò gì. Tư Quán mừng rỡ nói: Phẩm sai chắc hẳn cũng đã trở về rồi chứ nhỉ? Thắng bại được thua đều ở một lần hành động này đây. Tham công trong nội các bao che tội phạm, chỉ vì chút đợi còn con bảo không đến xỉa gì việc long mạch bị tổn thương. Vì vậy nhất định hoàng thượng sẽ không vui. Vụ án này kết thúc rồi, tiền đồ của bọn họ cũng sẽ tận thôi. Hương Quỳnh trong mày nói: từ thượng thư, chúng ta làm như vậy chính là vì Giang Sơn xã tắc của Đại Minh, không phải vì tiền đồ cá nhân. Tham công trong nội các đều là công thần vì nước. Bọn họ lo lắng chuyện tăng thuế cũng là vì nghĩ cho triều đình Đại Minh ta. Từ công sao có thể nói những lời như vậy được? Tư Quán vội cười bồi đáp: phải, Vương Thượng Thư nói rất phải. Song trong lòng lại thầm rủa: lão thất phú, nếu như ông Quang Minh chính đại, vì nước vì dân, sao lại xúi giục con mình đến bộ hình tố cáo để chém đầu người ta và bôi nhọ thành danh người ta chứ? Hồng Trung nói: Vương đại nhân, không bằng chúng ta hãy vào cung ngay, đem chuyện dân lăng phạm pháp bẩm báo cho hoàng thượng. Đợi đến khi hoàng thổ của Kim Tỉnh về rồi, chân tướng rành sẽ có đủ lý do giết hắn. Vương Quỳnh thoáng trầm ngâm rồi mỉm cười, lắc đầu nói: chuyện này không cần nhọc đến ông và ta ra mặt, là vậy chẳng phải sẽ thành chuyện bén xé ra to sao? Bảo thì đăng bộ hình Trình Văn Nghĩa dâng sớm, lấy danh nghĩa sĩ tử tố cáo dâng lên cho hoàng thượng là được. Trong cung Cản Thành, Hoàng đế Chính Đức đang nghe đại học sĩ Tạ Thiên lải nhải với một tâm trạng bất an. Hôm nay y mượn cớ vấn an Thái hậu và Thái hoàng Thái hậu nên đã miễn ngọ chiều, cả ngày ở trong cung chờ tin tức. Vừa vặn đúng lúc Lưu Kiện và Tạ Thiên có việc liên quan đến đại hôn của hoàng đế muốn bẩm báo và hội ý. Nghe nói y muốn đi thỉnh an Thái hậu, thế là cũng vội vã theo vào. Nào ngờ tiểu hoàng đế vốn không hề có lòng đi thăm Thái hoàng Thái hậu. Hai vị đại học sĩ cũng biết thời gian rất quý giá nên không chút lãng phí, lập tức ra sức khuyên can hoàng đế đừng sa đà vào chơi bời, đừng đi lại trong cung mà không mang thị vệ, đừng bỏ ra quá ít thời giờ đọc sách, đừng không mở kinh diên. Tận tình khuyên bảo một phen khiến hoàng đế Chính Đức nhức hết cả đầu. Khi Chính Đức đang bắt đầu mất kiên nhẫn thì một tên tiểu thái giám hấp tấp chạy vào bẩm báo: khải bẩm hoàng thượng, thì đang bộ hình Trình Văn Nghĩa khẩn cấp dâng sớ, sự tình có liên quan đến vụ án đến làng Thấm Nước. Nghe vậy hoàng đế Chính Đức giật mình, vội vàng vào: dâng sớ lên. Chính Đức nhận sớ dò ra xem, trên sớ Trình Văn Nghĩa viết lưu loát hơn 3.000 chữ, bỏ những câu sáo ngữ ra. Đại khái ý nói phát hiện ra rừng làng bề ngoài tỏ vẻ thanh liêm, nhưng trong tối lại tham ô xa xỉ, bỏ ra nhiều tiền mua thiết, hà hiếp tăng lữ vân vân. Xin hoàng thượng cho phép thẩm tra cùng với vụ án đến làng Thấm Nước một lượt. Giống như con bạc đang chờ đợi con bài tẩy được lật lên, không biết hoàng thổ được mang từ đế lăng về rốt cuộc có bị người giở trò không. Nhưng vừa nhìn thấy tấu chương này, lòng Chính Đức liền nguội đi một nửa. Vốn dĩ Trường Vĩnh vẫn nói với Dương Lăng không có lý do tham ô, nhưng giờ đã có chứng cứ. Sau khi xem những tội danh được liệt kê xong, Trình Đức cũng không còn tâm tư để xem tiếp những nội dung sau đó nữa. Y tức tối vứt đấu chương lên long án, cơ mặt dần giật, ngồi ngây ra trên ghế một hồi. Y bỗng nhảy phát dậy giận dữ quát: mang tất cả những phạm nhân có liên can đến đây cho trẫm muốn đích thân xét xử vụ án này. Điếu Kiện nghe thế vậy liền vội vã can ngăn: phải bẩm bệ hạ, việc này vạn vạn lần không thể. Luật pháp có cơ quan hành xử riêng, hoàng thượng là vạn thừa chi tôn, há có thể vượt quyền can thiệp. Đế vương tự cổ trừ hiến văn đến không biết tự trọng ra, thần vẫn chưa từng nghe nói có vị minh quân cao quý nào hạ phố đến đại sảnh bộ hình ngồi cả. Trình Đức nghe vậy thì nổi giận đùng đùng, đánh mặt lại chỉ đạo